From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, August the 28th, 2018. Israel's security agency, the Shin Bet, uncovered a large Hamas terror network operating in the West Bank city of Hebron. The Shin Bet said the network recruited dozens of men and women who worked in coordination with Hamas headquarters in Gaza, as well as abroad, coordinating operations, transmitting messages, and transferring funds for terror activities. 2 Palestinian men and 7 Palestinian women have been indicted so far. And staying in the West Bank, IDF troops opened fire on a Palestinian vehicle that was speeding towards them in the city of Nablus last night. Palestinian media reported that 5 people in the car were injured. The IDF said Israeli soldiers were securing the area of Joseph's tomb when they identified the car heading towards them at a high speed and opened fire. Power struggles continue between Hamas and the Palestinian Authority as reports of a possible ceasefire deal with Hamas and Israel continue. Hamas said there was a national consensus among the Palestinian people in support of such a deal with Israel, while also criticizing Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas for so-called cooperation with Israel. At the same time, there are reports citing Hamas officials that even if a truce with Israel is reached, saying that Hamas will continue to arm itself. And there are also reports that Abbas rejected that any ceasefire deal be made without permission from the Palestinian Authority. Israel's High Court of Justice ruled yesterday that 5 women from Gaza who are said to be close relatives of Hamas members must be allowed to enter Israel for urgent medical care. Israel has banned or limited relatives of Hamas members from entering the country for such purposes to try and pressure Hamas to return the remains of 2 Israeli soldiers and release 2 Israeli civilians it is holding in Gaza. But Justice Uzi Fogelman said that while the government was entitled to take maximum measures to return the Israelis, it cannot justify an arrangement that denies the possibility of a relative of a Hamas member from receiving life-saving medical treatment in Israel. The women, most of whom are fighting cancer, would be treated at 2 hospitals in East Jerusalem. Well, former British Chief Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks responded to anti-Semitic remarks made by UK Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn. In an interview published today in the British political and cultural magazine The New Statesman, Sacks said that Corbyn is an anti-Semite who has given support to racists, terrorists, and dealers of hate. Responding there to remarks made by Corbyn in a 2013 speech at the Palestinian Return Center in London, which resurfaced last week. In the speech, Corbyn criticized a group of, quote, British Zionists. Sacks said when he implies that however long they have lived here, Jews are not fully British, he is using the language of classic pre-war European anti-Semitism. Sacks said Corbyn's comments were the most offensive statement made by a senior British politician in the last 50 years. There is also a petition launched by a British anti-Semitism advocacy group calling for Corbyn's resignation that is currently being circulated. A section of the French Parliament was evacuated yesterday after a French Jewish lawmaker was threatened. A letter containing hateful anti-Semitic insults and threats to the office of Mayor Habib was received and opened by one of his employees. It contained a white powder. The letter called Habib, among other things, an Israeli terrorist. Habib, who is a former deputy president of the CRIF umbrella group of French Jewish communities, said of the incident, "It is sad and disconcerting that we have reached a situation in which a member of the French parliament receives death threats because he is Jewish and a friend of Israel." He said, "Beyond the personal matter, I am very concerned for the French Republic, and I think action and a response are needed at the highest levels." The powder was found to be harmless, and the building was searched before deeming it safe to return to. Local police are investigating. Israel's foreign ministry announced that Israel's ambassador to the United States, Ron Dermer, will represent Israel at memorial services in Washington, D.C. later this week for Senator John McCain, who died on Sunday at the age of 81. Upon McCain's passing, Dermer had posted on social media, "Deeply saddened to hear the news about the passing of Senator John McCain, a great friend of Israel and a great champion of the U.S.-Israel alliance." Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, August the 28th at 7 o'clock, Professor Gil Troy of McGill University discusses the need for a new kind of Zionism in exclusive JBS coverage of AIPAC 2016. At 8 o'clock, journalists Brett Stevens and Peter Beinart debate the future relationship between Israel and American Jewry, moderated by Rabbi David Ellenson from Congregation Rodef Shalom in New York City. At 9 o'clock, Mark Golub sits down with founding rabbi of the Hampton Synagogue, Mark Schneier, on L'chaim. At 10 o'clock, Professor Tzvi Gittleman talks about how nationality and religion are used to describe Jews in Eastern Europe and the former Soviet Union in a program from Limud FSU 2017. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, CJP Greater Boston's Jewish Federation's Barry Schrag talks to Mark Golub at the 2014 JFNA General Assembly. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, August the 28th, 2018. I'm Teisha Bader.